What's going on, my fellow reefers? So today I'm going to do something that I haven't done in over 4 months on my OG tank. We're going to test some water parameters. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, welcome back to Cue Ball's Reef. My name is Rob. If you're new to the channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button. I'm always looking for new subscribers. So, if you've been watching my channel, you know that I have several tanks. I have the 180 downstairs, the new 40-gallon budget tank, but this is my original. This is a 29-gallon Petco special. So this tank has been running for probably a year and a half now. I bought this at Petco for their $1 per gallon sale and put some live rock in there, and it's mostly softies except for the big fella down there. That's my carpet anemone. Love that guy. That's why the name of this tank is the Sarlacc Pit, because he kind of looks like the Sarlacc Pit. But most of the coral I have in here are just softies. I've got some leathers, some zoas, a gorgonian. Back in the back there I have some pulsing xenia, although they don't pulse. What else do we have in here? Some GSP, more zoas, my Kenya tree, some mushrooms, some toadstools. So just a pretty broad mix of softies. This tank is lit with an AI prime. Underneath the tank is my sump. It is just the most basic of sumps. There is an Aquamax skimmer down here. Pardon the mess. Aquamax skimmer, a refugium section, some old filter socks that I got to take out of there, but just a very basic setup. The problem with this tank, I haven't tested the water parameters on it in about 4 months, which is probably the last time I did a water change on it. Now, I know that softies can tolerate all sorts of varying conditions, but I haven't tested this yet, like I said, for about 4 months. So just out of curiosity, I want to see what the parameters look like. So I've got my rainbow of Hannah checkers here, and my handy dandy fish of hex holder. Check him out if you haven't checked him out yet. He's got all sorts of 3D printed stuff, and it makes carrying around all these Hannah checkers pretty simple. So I got those 3, and then we got these 3. As you can see, everything just kind of fits in there nice and tidy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through the whole gambit of tests just to see what are my parameters at after 4 months of not testing and not doing a water change. Dead battery. Now that we got the batteries replaced, let's try this alkalinity. So since Hannah doesn't make a magnesium checker yet, we're going to have to go with the Salifert. This is the kit I've been using since I got started in the hobby. There's quite a few steps to it, but it's definitely easy with the color change. And also if you use that as well as the magic stir, it's pretty simple. So here's the finished product. 4 months of not testing this tank. 4 months of no water changes on this tank. So now what am I going to do about this? My pH, I'm okay with that. My alkalinity, I'm okay with that. Calcium, great. Nitrates, really low. Phosphate, I'm okay with that. The problem is there is a imbalance between the nitrate and the phosphate. And if I let it go like this, I could run into trouble with dynos. It could just take one small trigger to set this tank off with dynos. So I'm going to have to address the nutrient imbalance. The magnesium, technically I'm okay with it, but I would like to raise it up to at least 1350. And the specific gravity, I'm okay with that. So I think what I'm going to start doing, currently I am dosing Kalkwasser in my auto top off. I think what I'm going to do is stop the calc, because when you dose with calc, there's no magnesium in it. So you have to supplement your tank with magnesium, which is easy enough to do if you remember to do it. So what I believe I'm going to start doing is I bought myself some of this Reef powder, which is supposed to control alk, mag, and calcium, plus give you a bunch of trace elements. So what I think I'm going to do is start using that as my main dosing form. Anyway, when you mix this stuff up, it's supposed to keep your parameters in check, all three of the major elements, and then also some trace elements. So I'm going to mix some of that up. We'll start dosing it on this tank. I'll take the Kalkwasser offline, and we'll see what happens. Definitely going to have to dose some nitrate into the tank, which I'm okay with. I have plenty of it. We'll see how things respond. If the nitrate dosing doesn't help me out, I might have to take my skimmer offline, or possibly the refugium. So we'll see. I mean, obviously the tank's looking good. Nothing's dying. I don't have a dino outbreak, knock on wood. All my inhabitants are happy. Corals are growing. And I don't have a boatload of algae that I have to deal with. So we'll take care of those minor few tweaks. But I'm not going to do a water change, even though that would probably be the easiest way, but that's going to bottom out my nutrients even more. So I'm just going to keep this tank doing what it's doing and switch over to Reef and see what happens. So, all right, that was just a quick little view of my 29-gallon Reef tank, mostly softies, like I said. We'll see what happens here when I make this switch over to Reef, and I'll get back to you. So we'll catch you guys on the next one. Happy reefing.